Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about application of circular function. We're going to go over this example and I'm going to show you how to do on the CAS calculator. All right, let's get started. So in this example here, they give me the equation. D is represent the distance and T is the time. Now, question A, how far is point B above the ground when T equals 0? So pretty much you just substitute 0 in, right? So I would have, I'll just do it here, 100 minus 60 times cos of 4 pi over 3 times 0. So that's 0. Cos of 0 is 1. So I would have 100 minus 60 times 1, and that the answer is going to give me 40 at the answer. So it's initially they start 40 meter. Okay. Now question B. Let me just wrap this out. 40 centimeter, I mean, because the unit centimeter, showing that. Now, questions B, how long it takes for the wheel to rotate once. So that is when they ask about a period, how long they take to repeat itself. So we do 2 pi over n. So the period is 2 pi and n is a number in front of t, which is 4 pi over 3. So we have 2 pi times 3 over 4 pi. Pi and pi cancel out. 2 times 3 equals 6. 6 divided by 4 gives you 1.5. So every 1.5 seconds, the wheel will repeat itself. So they're the same pattern every 1.5 seconds. Okay. Now, question C, maximum and minimum distance of the point above the ground. This is where they ask for the range. So how do we get the range from the cos graph? We would start with the amplitude first. So the amplitude is the number in front of cos, which is 60. So therefore, the range will be negative 60 to 60. Okay. And then we do consider a translation here, which is 100 meter to up. So we're going to plus 100 here. So our final range will be negative 60 plus 100 and 60 plus 100 on here. Okay. Negative 60 plus 100 is 40. 60 plus 100 is 160. So the maximum that we have will be 160 and the minimum distance is 40. Now sketch the graph of D against T. So to sketch, we have the minimum and the maximum, which is 40 and 160. Okay. The middle number is always the translation up and down, which is 100. Or you can just do 40 plus 160 divided by 2. That still gives you 100. This is a negative cos graph. Negative cos, we start from the minimum and it's go upside down like this. And that's where you reach a period, which is 1.5 seconds. All right. Now, question A, in the first notation, so they talk about in one period, find the interval of time when point P is less than 17 meter above the ground. So 17 meter is somewhere here, that's the distance. And they want to know when is it less than 17 meter. So when the line when the graph is below the line. So you see this section and this section. You see where it less than 70. So what we do, we're going to find what's the x here, okay? And if you do by hand, we pretty much let d equal 70. So 70 equal 100 minus 60 cos of 4 pi over 3t. I'm going to show you two ways to do by hand and by calculator. Now, if we do by hand, we're going to take away 100 to the other side. So 17 minus 100 become negative 30 equal negative 60 cos of 4 pi over 3t. Then to get rid of negative 60, you would divide by negative 60 on this side. and get rid of this. Negative 30 divided by negative 60 give you a half equal cos of 4 pi over 3t. Now, the angle that have cos equal a half, which is 60 degrees, is pi over 3. And you also have the angle in equation 4 that ASTC that have cos equal a half, which is 2 pi minus pi on 3, give you 5 pi on 3. Okay, so here, I'm going to drop this out. So I have two angle I have pi or 5 pi will be the angle inside here, 4 pi over 3t. Then I can solve for t by getting the pi, get the all out, 3. Okay, so you would have t, 4t equal 1 or 5. Then if you divide it by 4, you get 1/4 or 5/4. That's what t equal. So if you look at the graph here, you will see that 1/4 is the first intersection. 1/4, that's 0.25 here. And 5/4 is the second intersection, which is 1.25. Okay, so to answer this question, find the interval of time, you would have anything between 0 to 1/4, 0 to 0.25. So you have 0 to 0.25. And because you don't want to include 70, that's why you round bracket. And then that's union, and you do 1.25 to 1.5. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this on the CAS. So imagine I have my CAS here. Because this is a word question, so have A, B, C, D. So I recommend you're going to define the function first. So to define the function, you just write menu action define, and then you put in the equation, which is 100 minus 60 times cos of 4 pi over 3 x. Okay. Then to find, if you want to know x equals 0, you just do f of 0 and it gives you the y value. If you want to solve for anything, you go to menu algebra solve, and then you let fx equal whatever you want. So in this case, we let that equal 70, we solve x. Now the domain is 0 to whatever that is. So we do control equal and you press that. Then we do 0 to 1.5. That's the period. And it gives you two values here, 1/4 and 5/4. Right? If you want to graph it, you can go to graph and then you enter the equation f(x). Then you put the control equal, put in the domain 0 less than x less than 1.5. Then it doesn't appear anything here because my maximum is 100 and something. So I need to change that to 200. Yeah, there you go. And because 10, you can change this if you want. Maybe make it smaller, make it 2. Right? And then you can graph it and move it that way so you can see the graph better. If you want to find the intersection here, you can. You click tab, you write 70. Then you can find the intersection by going to menu, analyze graph, intersection. And then lower bound, upper bound is 0.25. And if you keep moving, it's 1.25. Okay, so that's how we do it on the calculator. So here we do have another example, which is a really typical questions about the tie. All right, now let's get started on this. So here I have h is the height of the tie above the sea level or below, and t is the time, the number of hours after midnight. Okay, now question I draw a graph with the domain is given. So with this, I look at my amplitude is 4, so I go from -4 to 4. Right? The period is 2 pi over n, and n is pi over 6, which is 2 pi times 6 over pi, which gives me 12. So 1 period is equal to 12. Psi will start from the middle and they go all the way to 12. Okay, your domain want you to go to 24, so I just do another period. So that's will go to 24 here, right? Now, when was the high tide? So the high tide happened at here. You can see 4 is a high tide. So they want to know when is it, what time. So pretty much, because they know, you know the period is 12, you can half of the period, you get 6 here. And if you do half of 6, you get 3. So they actually go by 3 each time. 3, 6, 9 here, and then 12, and then here you have 15 if you do 12 plus 3. So it means it's either 3 or 15, right? And 3 is the number of hours after midnight, so 3 means 3 a.m. And 15 hours after midnight means 3 p.m. So when was the high tide? It's either 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. Okay. All right. Now, question C. What was the high tide? The height is just 4 to 4 meter. Now, question D. When was the height of the tide at 8 a.m.? So at 8 a.m. means T equal A. So you sub 8 in and get the Y value. It will be negative something. So it's below the sea level. So question D, I sub 8 into my equation. So H equal 4 times sin of pi over 6 times 8. Pi over 6 times 8 is 8 pi over 6, which is 4 pi over 3. Okay. So you do 4 times sin of that. Sin of 4 pi and 3, if you think about the circle, pi and 3 is 60 degrees. That's pi and 3. 4 pi and 3 is on the other side. 60 times 4 is 240 degrees. If we make in degrees, that's 400. So in this quadrant, psi will be negative. And pi and 3, psi pi and 3, root 3 over 2. So this will give you negative root 3 over 2. And when you time by 4, 4 and 2 cancel out 2 and 1. So it will be negative 2 root 3. So the high tide will be 2 root 3 meter, okay, but it's below the sea level because it's negative, below sea level. All right, question A. A boat can only cross the harbor when the tide at least 1 meter. So here they tell you that 1 meter above the sea level. So think about 1 meter is somewhere here, and you want at least 1 meter. So you need to have this section here is above 1, right? And similarly, you can have the other section as well, also about 1 meter. So they're asking you, when could the boat cross the harbor? So they ask you from where to where and from where to where. So first of all, we're going to let 1 equal h. So A, we have 1 over 4 equals psi of pi over 6t. If you divide it by 4 on this side, you actually don't have the exact value for a quarter by at the VCE level. So what we do, we're going to solve this on the CAS because we know the solution will be rational. Okay, we go to menu algebra solve. Then we have 1 equal 4 times, and we have the equation here as psi, and our equations is pi over 6 times x. We have comma x at the end, and make sure you have the domain outside, control and equal, put the domain in as 0, less than f, less than 24. So you will see you end up having 4 different values. If you press control equal, it gives you those ones. So 0.48, 0.52. So what do I have? I have here we have t equals 0.48, which is right here. That's 0.48. And then you have t equal 5.52, which is here. Okay. Then there are two more solutions. If I go back and look, we have 12.48 and 12.48 and 17.52. So 12.48 and 17.52. So you can see from there to there, which is the first interval, and then from there to there is the second interval. Okay, so when could the boat cross the harbor? So they can cross the harbor at the time interval, and you can include that. So 0.48, 5.52, right? Or 12.48 and 17.52. Okay, that's the t value. Now, if you want to know the exact time, you can make it in the time exactly. So what you do is, if you time this by 60, it's 0.48 hours after midnight, right? So if you time this by 60, you can actually get the time. So I do 0.48 times 60. That is 28.8 minutes after midnight. So that will be 29. So I will have 12 and 29 a.m. Right? Then you do the same thing here. So 5 hours after midnight, so 12 plus 5 will be 5. And to convert this to decimal to minutes, you just need to time this by 60. So if I do 0.52 times 60, you get 31.2. So this will give you 5 hours and 31 a.m. So anytime between there to there. Union, and you pretty much do the same thing here. So 12 hours after midnight, so that will be 12 noon. And 0.48 times 60, that will give you 29. So 12:29 p.m., 17 hours. So 17 is 5 hours, 5 p.m., right? And 0.52, if you time by 60, that gives you 31. So pretty much they just p.m. on the other side. Okay. Right. The last questions is we're going to talk about how to find the equation if they give you some words like that. Now, in the tidal river, the time between high tide is 12. So what can you get from this information? So think about a tide like this, and they're telling you that between high tide, the time here is 12 hours. So pretty much this is a period. So they're telling you that the period is 12. Okay. Now, the average depth of the water is 5 meters. So they're telling you that when you have a graph like that, the middle value, that's 5 meters here. Okay. And at the high tide is A. So the maximum here is A. The middle is 5. So obviously the minimum will be 3 because A minus 5 is 3. A minus 5 is 3. So if you do 5 minus 3, you get 2. So the minimum will be 2 to 5A, and this 3 in the gap between them. Now, they don't know, you don't know lots of value here. They're telling you that at noon, T is the number of hours after noon. So at noon means T equals 0. There's a high tide. High tide is at 8. So when T equals 0, H equals 8. That's the information. Okay, now find the value of A and B and epsilon. So A is the amplitude, and the amplitude, the distance between maximum and the middle, which is A minus 5 equal 3. So And maybe we find B first because B is easier. B is the middle number. The middle number is 5. So A is the middle, which is 5. Okay. Now to find n, we base on the period. So 2 pi on n equal a period, and our period is 12. Okay. So n will be 2 pi on 12 is pi over 6. Then to find A epsilon, what we do, we have the point here. We can sub it in and find the how much translation they have. So we have H equal, we sub it in, A is 3 psi of n is pi over 6. T is just T plus epsilon, and B is 5. All right. Now we know when T equals 0, H equal A, so we reply H is A, 3 times psi of pi over 6 times 0 plus epsilon plus 5. Then we do, this becomes 0, so A equal 3 psi of epsilon plus 5 minus 5 on both sides. That's become 3 equal 3 psi of epsilon, and then divided by 3 over, so 3 divided by 3 equal 1. So you can write this as 1, equals psi of epsilon. So the angle that has psi of something equal 1, there's many possible answers for this, but you can pick the smallest positive one, which is pi over 2, 90 degrees. Okay. All right. So now we have the equations. So now what's our equation? YH equal A is 3 psi of pi over 6t plus A is pi over 2 plus 5. Right. Now, at what time is the depth of the water 6 meter? So if it's 6 meter, this means H equal 6. Then you can put this on the calculator and you can solve for T. And the last thing is guess the graph. And then again, this question can be done on the class as well, which we already revised how to do it.